Well, again, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj from the road this week with my partner in crime, Richard Jones, back in the safe comforts of his own home office. Richard, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Eric? How's the show going?
Show is going pretty well. I know the big news, of course, is as we're recording this winter storm, I guess they're calling it Miles, is making its way across the United States. And right now here it's mostly wind and rain, but anticipate as we drive north later today in our effort to get home in time that we're maybe going to run into some of the white stuff, which was never good.
No, well, you would definitely be experiencing the wind and the rain here in Northeast Ohio, but hopefully you make it home before the snow hits. So
yeah, this time of year, the only white stuff I want to deal with is the powdered sugars on the potchkis I'm getting from the Polish bakery down the street. But you got to deal with the other once in a while. It is That's Ohio right. After all. So
that's right.
So hey, I know we had planned to talk about the farm machinery show that I am at here in Louisville, Kentucky, but and we will, of course. So our viewers you won't be disappointed. I'll give you the lowdown on site here, but we do have, I guess you'd call it some breaking news to discuss that sort of trumps what's going on here in Louisville.
Certainly the big news that we've been covering this week at CropLife is the situation with Bayer and glyphosate. Saw an announcement, I believe, over the weekend or late last week that Bayer had announced that there was some equipment that had gone down in one of the plants that manufactures raw materials for glyphosate. And with that, they declared a force majeure. So they were going to be having a difficult time delivering previously agreed upon product to customers. So we've been following that closely. The big challenge here is they're saying that that plant machinery, they're working on it, but it could be down for as long as 3 months, which would come back online after the busy spring season. So I think a lot of people in the ag retail market are watching this very closely. What are you hearing down at the show?
Well, yeah, actually, and National Farm Machinery Show, it's more of a grower event. So a lot of the folks I was sort of chatting with casually as I was eating lunch yesterday, sort of mentioning the force majeure and Bayer and glyphosate and the situation. And most of them seem to think that, most of the growers that they know and they themselves have planned far enough in advance that they actually are confident that they'll be able to get what they need in terms of herbicides for their fields for the spring season coming up. So they're not that concerned right now. But again, that, it may be a case of this news just broke and there may not be that much news that's been shared across the supply chain just yet. So, because again, a machinery problem that takes 90 days to fix, obviously it's not little. This isn't just some component that they can pull off a line and replace, and get back up and running. It's something that's much more involved, probably requires a massive disassembly and then replacement, cleaning and reassembly. And I can't believe what else would take machinery wise, a 3-month repair, even when you take your car in for like a transmission, that's usually only a week. So this is a lot worse than that. So,
well, it's certainly it's just the latest element in what's turned out to be a pretty exciting situation with the supply chain. And as we head out of 21 and head into a busy 22, I know that's actually the focus of CropLife magazine this month and the cover story that you and Jim Stedman, our colleague on Cotton Grower, had been working on together. And then Jackie Pucci, our great reporter on CropLife, has been covering this pretty much full time the last few days, doing a lot of reporting on this. She's written something for the issue, and you can definitely find her coverage, her live coverage, frequently updated on CropLife.com right now.
Yeah, and you'll know, and just to sort of tease, you'll know that this magazine has arrived in your inboxes and mailboxes because the cover features a chain, of course, that's in a nice tight knot. So indicative of what we're dealing with the supply chain right now in the agriculture and general marketplace here in the U.S.
So we'll be following that closely, both with the Bayer situation and just the supply chain in general. So keep your eyes on that on CropLife.com and then watch your mailboxes.
Yep. So then switching gears, of course, here I am at the National Farm Machinery Show down in Louisville. The show is taking place for the first time since February of 2020. That was the last time they had the in-person event. I know in 2021, they attempted to move the show back a couple of months and then ultimately decided with the COVID situation still being a thing that they decided basically to say, you know what, we're just going to take the year off. So there was no event in 21. And I think in honor of that, or in recognition of that, the folks at the 22 show did a ribbon cutting ceremony to kind of open things up, gave a couple of speeches, and here's a video clip of the folks talking about the return of the National Farm Machinery Show after a 2-year absence in 2022.
This is such a major event for the agricultural industry throughout our nation. Agriculture is important, and people love to come here to this facility. They love, this is the 56th National Farm Machinery Show, so a rich tradition. People come here to be able to see the new technology, the latest ideas in production, things that they can do to improve their operation as we try to feed ourselves a good part of the world. With that, it also has an opportunity for people to get together. It's kind of like a family reunion. People come year after year. This show has a huge impact on the agriculture industry, but it also has an impact on the economy here in the Commonwealth and here in Louisville. We estimate this event itself will generate an economic impact of over $22 million. And coming through what we've come through with COVID and other things, to be able to see that type of attendance in our city, to be able to utilize the hotels, to be able to utilize the restaurants, and all those that support travel and tourism, it's a major impact. So we're glad again to be able to host this event today. Talk about the tractor pull just briefly. This will be the 53rd championship tractor pull. Almost 200 pullers will be involved. It has the largest purse overall of any tractor pull in the country. You know, if you're into horse racing, it's the Derby. If you're into the race cars, it's the Indy, Daytona. If you're into pulling tractors, it's Freedom Hall the second week in February. So we're glad to continue that tradition as well.
It's just a privilege to be here. You know, we waited 2 years for this to be able to come back together. You know, our agriculture is constantly changing. Technology is changing so fast, and we're a little bit behind because we couldn't have the show last year. So this gives a great opportunity for farmers to come, talk to those that are manufacturing our products that we use, and catch up on the latest technology they have from those from the company. You know, we have seminars here that offer a lot of extra educational opportunities for our farmers. But it's just a pleasure to be here as a farmer and enjoy the great opportunities that we have. And we're just so thankful that we have the opportunity to bring the National Farm Machinery Show back to Louisville, Kentucky this year. In mid-February, the best place in the world to be is a National Farm Machinery Show and Champion Tractor Pull right here at KUC in Louisville, Kentucky.
And we don't do this by ourselves. The exhibitors, as you look around our property, 1.2 million square feet of indoor climate control facilities. To fill that up, gosh, close to 900 different exhibitors overall. Business has been involved on a normal year. We have over 15,000 individuals here registering just to work the booths. A major investment made by those people to come here and show, display their products as they market and try to serve the industry. I was telling our staff the other day at a management meeting that, you know, so much of what we have in our society, whether it be in our homes, in our businesses, the technology, from medicine on, much of that started on a farm, where a farmer had an idea, they enhanced it, they developed it. Maybe they went to the agribusiness community and they took it to the next level. In addition to that, then the universities get involved many times with research. All this doesn't just happen, but so much of it you can trace back to what's happens in agriculture.
Over the next 4 days, what you'll see as you walk the trade show floor is the biggest and brightest of America's agribusiness industry. You'll see the results of the research and development, the engineering, the technology, the information, the communication, the financial aspect. This is the support network for America's farmers. Farmers don't operate in a vacuum. They're not on their own. These are the folks that help them each and every day be profitable on their farms and their ranches. We hope that over the next 4 days, You'll also visit with the folks that are involved in these agribusinesses, because it's not just the products and the services and the technology, it's the people. It's the men and women that have devoted their careers and their professions to supporting America's farmers.
But this week, those of you attending, you'll see a lot of people in the business community. You'll see a lot of elected officials that have an understanding and appreciation for our industry and what it means. So people will be here, they'll be sharing ideas, and let me just say thank you for being here with us today. We're now going to have the ribbon cutting, and I want to ask some people to join us. Of course, Mr. Coyle, Mr. Griffin, if you would join us here by the ribbon cutting, opening the show. We're also going to have members of our fair board and officially open this year's National Farm Machinery Show.
So Richard, that's what the folks here at the National Farm Machinery Show in 2022 did, ribbon cutting to formally open the show after a 2-year absence. Just some vibes from the show, some observations. Everybody, of course, is just glad to be back. I know I cannot tell you how many times as I was walking the floor yesterday, I saw someone for the first time in person since 2020's event, and they were like, "Hey, this is a great event. It's good to see you again, and really missed you." And of course, we've got the Commodity Classic event coming up in a few weeks, and they're like, "Let's do lunch, let's do dinner." So it's just nice, and not having done this for like 2 years on a regular basis, it's very nice to get back into that swing of things. So, but I guess on the negative side, attendance, I think, is going to be down for this event. It's usually 200,000-300,000 people show up over the 4-day event for this show, and they have the national champion tractor pull as well, which is the big event on Saturday. But they do all 4 days of events around that. So they usually get a lot of foot traffic from the folks locally, but I'm not sure that's happening this year. Normally, when you're trying to navigate some of the aisleways, the first day of the show in the afternoon, you kind of get stuck in a traffic jam, if you will. People with kids in their wagons, and people talking to exhibitors, or stopped, obviously. So you have a tough time moving through the crowd. And yesterday, I must say, I breezed through the whole place very easily. So that was a different experience. And I know this show usually has about 800 exhibitors, and I was doing a quick count this morning. Looks like about 780 folks are here this year. So they're down about 20, which isn't that bad, but still, that, for this show that has normally had a wait list of exhibitors looking for spots, apparently that, there probably are still some restrictions in place for companies to not be attending live events, and I'm sure that shows with the numbers here that I've been throwing at you.
Oh, we know from our own experience in going to other events and hosting our own events, there are still companies that are still have some pretty significant travel restrictions. So to me, it's kind of encouraging that they're only about 20 off. So that ought to be pretty easy to pick up once we kind of get back into the swing of things next year. And
yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, I imagine a lot of shows this year are probably, again, they'll gauge versus 2020, and then hopefully next year things will start to get back to the quote unquote normal side for them, attendance wise, exhibitor wise, and everything else. But I do want to give a shout out to one company in particular. And again, there are new products here. Some of course I've already seen at other events that took place last summer or during the fall. But one was completely new. This was the Beluga drop hose from our friends at Greenleaf Technologies. This is basically an extender for nozzles on the boom arm of a self-propelled sprayer that goes down into underneath the canopy of the crop. Now they're marketing it, of course, for corn, because when corn is, during its as it's growing in the summertime, the leaves spread out pretty well. They basically keep stuff, if you'd sprayed over top of it, from getting to the ground level. So with this extender, you'd be able to go underneath the canopy and apply the herbicide onto the ground to keep those yield robbing weeds from growing any bigger and dying, hopefully. And then, everybody can go on and get their yields for the fall harvest time.
I love seeing all this new technology. That's really cool.
Yeah, this is not, I mean, other companies have done this type of thing before, but again, this is the first time I've seen our friends at Greenleaf try it. So I'm giving them a shout out, and I'm sure I'll be hearing more about the Beluga. Of course, I keep running through the kids' Broadway play, the Baby Beluga song in my head now that I say this. So.
I have to say, I'm not familiar with that one, but maybe you can sing it to me after the show.
I would just recommend looking it up on YouTube. I'm not singing. Not gonna sing. All right. Well, Richard, I know I'm here, and I know I'm going to be on the road quite a bit the next couple of weeks, but I know we have a Meister event coming up here at the end of the month. I know you teased it last week, but since we're not there yet, I figure why not give it another tease.
Oh, absolutely. And it's fun getting the notifications every time we get registrations. The registrations are flowing in for this still, but it's the BioControls USA Conference and Expo. We're going to be out in Monterey, California this year, March 1st and 2nd. We will have a really engaging BioControls tour the day before on February 28th. Went out to visit a lot of grower operations in the area, see what their biologicals programs are, and learn some more about those operations too. So Taylor Farms, Laguna Mist, growers transplanting. We're going to go to a Wilbur facility, a vineyard, and then we'll finish up at a winery, which is always a good way to finish a tour. And then people, that's always the popular finish of the tour.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah. But then a couple of days of great education on biological products, introduction to a lot of new products that are hitting the market this year, and just some good production information. So definitely interested in having anybody who would like to come out and learn more about this. Go to biocontrolsusa.com, check out the agenda, and we'd love to see you register. Hopefully we'll see some of you out there.
Looking forward to it, Richard. Yeah, I'm sure you'll give us a nice lowdown here early March, what's going on in the marketplace. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Richard, unfortunately, time for your favorite segment of the show. Time for Fun with Numbers. Okay, this one, people may accuse me of throwing you a softball here, but hopefully you've been paying attention.
You're not supposed to preface it with, you're definitely going to get this right.
Yeah, I know. That's setting you up for failure. I apologize. All right. Well, your number this week is 735. And your clue is the National Farm Machinery Show. So thinking about this show and what we've been talking about, what do you think 735 might represent?
Would that be some kind of economic impact on Louisville?
I'm sorry, Richard.
Yeah,
no.
I told you you're not supposed to.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not it. No, they mentioned the economic impact. They think the show brings about $23 million to the local economy. But 735, as I mentioned, this is the first National Farm Machinery Show that's taking place in 2 years. The last one took place on February 12th, 2020. And if you take the number of days between February 12th, 2020 and February 16th, 2022, which is when the show started this year, that's 735 days.
I will tell you that I've had communications from a number of people that I know that watch this who have said, you really should make this multiple choice.
I suppose we need, maybe we could talk about that, but I kind of, again, you impressed me the first couple of times we did this. You nailed it, so perfectly. I was like, what, are you reading my mind here? I thought you were like, but that Siri commercial they did during the Super Bowl ad. But the last 2 weeks, no, I'm sorry. I'll try to come up with an easier number for next week's video.
I'll spend the next week just going through the archives of Retail Week and trying to wrap my head around what's going on in your brain.
Okay, that could hurt. That could really be painful. I'm sorry. It'd be like driving the railroad spike right in. So, okay. All right. Well, I think that's it for this edition of CropLife Retail Week. Next week, Richard and I should both be back in our home bunkers. Glad having you this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
Safe travels, Eric.
Thank you, sir.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comments section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.